Alright, what is up, guys? How are you guys doing? Hopefully it's good. Uh, so, if you haven't already read the title, I am essentially telling you what my current events are so that you know I'm not dead. Story time, plans, stuff like that. Just for being patient. It's been like about a month since I've uploaded, actual content to this and not just rushed out stuff. Um, which was uploaded September 5th. So I don't know. Just to say the least, it's been over a month since I've uploaded actual content, and that was just to urgently tell you that I'm an idiot. So I'm back, essentially telling you what's going on in my life because well, there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of information that you guys don't necessarily need to know, but would make a lot more sense for why I'm not uploading as much and whatnot. And the first thing is that school. I'm going back into like now that summer break is over. Going back into school is rough, especially since in my case where certain events have happened that I am not going to get into. But essentially, just I like exhausted, very, very, very exhausted from getting back into school. I couldn't really just sit down and talk to somebody or talk to a camera for that matter because I just really didn't feel like talking. I've already used up a lot of my energy. I don't know how long I'm going to go for certain things, but now I'm at a point where I'm just thinking, you know what? I just got to do it. I gotta do something, and so now I've got a one game that I've planned out. It's a free game, which was convenient, so I can just download it instantly. Um, but sadly, as like a content creator that's not profiting off of any views that I'm getting, um, I can't exactly just willy nilly buy a game off of Steam. So oh, there goes that, just constantly pumping out content. Um, but then the other thing is that I just can't bother having a camera on me because it's I'm already drained out from today, doing other stuff, all that, reconnecting with school because something happened to where I had to be pulled out of it for a while, and so it just like I said, exhausting. Um, but a few current stories, which is gonna turn into another "fuck you, dad" video that I uploaded like sometime 2 years ago. It's almost like when I started my YouTube channel and they were taking my shit away, and now I'm just back here doing it again. Have fun with that PTSD, Dad. I don't need one more subscriber. I have 70 more. Um, but like where since my freaking dad is now trying to run away from his responsibilities again, like he did 2 years ago, in the laziest fucking way possible, he's back doing it again. And now that my little freaking sister is spreading information, confidential information, I might add, um, it's becoming a problem. So I went up to my dad, and he just told me like, oh, you were doing certain things. Like I'm sorry, Moses. But it's your problem, not mine. You things were bound to get out. And I'm like, no, Dad. That is confidential. That is confidential information that my younger sister has no right whatsoever to be giving out to the public. Again, I'm not disclosing that confidential information here because it is none of your business. You guys have no reason to know it, especially since it's not affecting the YouTube channel very much, other than my parents lazily punishing me and taking away this freaking gem of a computer that's running like 3 different screens at one time because me, I like my screen. I like to be scatterbrained and have all things opened all at the same time because I just need the space. And okay, and then getting back into school. has also just taken time away in general. Not only is it mentally exhausting, but I just don't have very much time at all. Like taking out the school, I would have enough time to upload a YouTube video or two, or maybe edit some stuff. But I'm already so mentally and physically drained from going to school, because my ADHD and my autism and my lack of sleep, and the fact that Mountain Dew don't do anything anymore. Not anymore. It never did. But the fact that Mountain Dew, the caffeine, don't do anything, it's just like not a possible thing. But since there's not much editing that I'm worrying about with this, it's just it's a lot easier for me to talk about it. Because I don't have the thought of me having to overly edit this thing just to make it look good on my back. Because I'm just sitting here and talking to you guys. I don't have to play a video game and worry if it's good or not, or good for commentary and whatnot. Because I'm just sitting down ranting. And yeah, so this kind of feels like podcast, not gonna lie. So one of the games that I really want to get into, mostly because it's free, and I had no problem making commentary with it years ago. Yeah, I thought I would try it out on Steam. There's a game called Portal Reload, and I really want to play it. It came out 2021, I think. So I'm a bit late, like it's 3 years late. So at least this time I'm not 11 years late. Like I'm pretty sure the original Portal came out in like 2010, maybe. And just another thing pointing out the fact that Valve doesn't know how to count to three. They have to make up words just to put out a third game. Alright. And another thing, the green screen. A green screen is something that I always want to do. Put it in the background. But as you can see here, with this massive queen-size bed that my parents tried to squeeze into a freaking studio apartment for what it looks like to me, that doesn't work out too well. Putting a queen-size bed in just such a small area, like this area is big. It's great for YouTube, but it's not for a queen-size bed. So I've told my parents, like, yeah, no, I can't keep this thing in here. I am grateful. It was very comfortable, and I enjoyed it while it lasted. But I just like if I really want to put more effort into my YouTube and be able to store things better, I just can't have a full size bed in here. And then even with doing stuff like putting up shelves, that's gonna be a lot harder because I've got a bed in the way. Like it's not like Tetris where everything's coming down from the ceiling. Like when you gotta rearrange, you gotta take stuff out, and you can't do that in Tetris, or you can't do that here. So it's just make up space and stuff like that. So that is my mom. So my mom said that she's gonna be able to do that when my older brothers move out and we have a lot more space. Because right now we just don't have the space to just put a queen size bed somewhere. Because obviously, if this thing ever does end up coming out of my room, then it's just gonna be stored somewhere, never to be seen again until I like move out for my own things and whatnot. I don't know. But you get my point. I just can't work very well with this thing in here, and when my older brothers move out, it's going to be a lot easier. And another thing that's also mentally exhausting and prohibiting my ability to make YouTube videos is a job. I really, really need a job. I've applied for a few places so far, but I feel like the one I'm going to be able to get is Little Caesars. I have a Little Caesars right down the road. I don't need any fancy transportation to get there. It almost seems. Oops, I kicked the stand that my webcam is on. Sorry about that. But the Little Caesars down the road. I'm not quite sure how it pays, and to be completely honest, I don't care. Minimum wage is enough here. And here just things are a lot more cheaper. You can I'm pretty sure you can get a smaller house made out of pure stone and concrete for about $200,000, and it's completely trashed. Like you need to fill in holes with plaster or other things, and it's just completely not worth it. So we ended up moving here, which makes it a lot easier to live on our own. Not easy, easier. There's a massive difference, a massive difference, because it's still gonna be very, very difficult. So there's my current events, kind of. The plus sides that are gonna come to my job is, one, I'm gonna be able to get work release, which means I'm not gonna be going to school. That takes two classes. So if I can work with my school, I can take off completely rip off 2 classes from my school daily schedule. That would all be put towards a job, of course. But since I'm working with my parents and they don't actually want me in school per se, they want me in there the bare minimum. At least they're agreeable enough. I shouldn't say they. My dad is just a fucking moron. He's like Metal Ball in Portal 2. I am not a moron!
You're not just a regular moron. You were designed to be a moron.
I am not a moron!
Yes, you are. You're a moron they built to make me an idiot.
Well, how about now? Now who's a moron? Could a moron punch you into this pit? Could a moron do that? No.
But he's my dad is a fucking idiot. But my mom is at least smart enough to realize that with ADHD, autism, completely unmedicated, school is something that we want to stay away from at all costs. Still going to school, the legal requirement, but working with my school in a way where it takes off as much of that as possible. And puts it towards things that would actually be useful in my life, like a job or YouTube, and learning in my own ways. I've already been doing that for the past year, and school has kind of just been a waste, honestly. School, I don't want to be bragging about my situation. I know I'm a lot luckier in my school situation compared to other people. Other people are just mentally forced to just deal with it. And in my situation, I spoke out like a lot, and so now here I am, finally being heard, and people finding out that this isn't good for me, and now I'm finally able to do it in my own way. I really don't want to brag about that, and I can agree with you guys when I say school is not for you. School is just really not for anyone. It was a way to learn in the 90s, and now it's just completely outdated. And now, even back then, we had neurotypes, and now we're actually noticing neurotypes. Now we're actually noticing that women aren't actually that far off from men. They're almost no different. Seriously, it's dumb. Men back in the 80s and even before that just treated women like absolute garbage and whatnot. So much things have changed to the point where I'm finally I'm actually someone that's stepping into other situations. And now I get to tell you guys about my experiences. Again, don't want to brag. I honestly can't tell if that's what I'm doing, but I guess what I'm really trying to say is that I feel sorry that right now it feels like just I'm the only one going, the only one, the one that has a lot of things going for me that's going up because I fought for my own rights unmedicated ADHD. There's two decisions. One was much harder than the other, and I chose the hard one. For those of you who are still stuck in the situation, I really hope something similar can happen to you, and bring understanding to what you can do. Like, if you can work with your school to take off classes that you can get a job, you should absolutely do that. So just try your best out there. Just realize that if you cannot focus on something, that's probably because you can't focus on something. So there you go. So I should probably get you guys up to speed about the bathroom situation. Bathroom situation is fine. I had really no reason to come back and tell you guys about the situation. There was a video uploaded quite a bit ago, back in July, and for the most part, it seems like it got better because I'm uploading content and whatnot. But the story is far from over. Like, even though my younger sister is finally being forced to clean it and whatnot, there are still a lot of problems. Like, there was a few times where she did clean it, but I didn't get to take a shower in time before she trashed it again. It doesn't make any sense. Like, just because you clean something that doesn't help if you clean it, if you're just going to trash it a day later. Okay? Keep it clean. Okay? Learn to put your stuff in the drawer. It's another times like these where I'm glad I'm not affected by beauty standards, as you can tell with my trashy hair. Because if I struggled with makeup, putting it in its correct spots, it would have been a whole different story for me. So I'm glad that's not the case. I kind of just wear the same thing over and over again. Another thing about the bathroom situation is that a little bit is my fault. I'm not going to deny, like, a lot of accusations, like, sure, stuff like this happens. But in this situation, I feel like I didn't necessarily clarify what was actually going on. Because I showed you guys images and whatnot of hair clogging the drains, stuff like that, and really my point was that going in, I feel like I was going to end up more unhygienic than I was before, and that wasn't for that reason alone, of the bathtub being disgusting. Because if you can clean, like, sure, it's water. All that stuff is going to stay on the floor and whatnot, and I can just pick the hair out of the shower. I'm completely fine with doing that. I grew up being a very gross kid. I still am now. So I'm completely fine with just picking it out if I need to, because a lot of that hair is my hair as well. But, stuff like that. But there's also weird habits that cause it. And then also wiping down the counter. Just because you pick up trash off the floor and organize all your shit, you still need to, like, scrub down that counter as best as you can. Because I'm putting my clothes there. I can't, even if it's not messy, it's still dirty, and that dirt is going to get in all of my clothes. So that doesn't really do much when it comes to my situation. And then, seems to be about it. I do have one thing, though. So, about the Battle Cats. I thought I would do a YouTube video on it, or do some live streaming telling you guys about the game, whatnot. But for the Battle Cats, commentary for the game runs out very quick. So you have to set up special occasions where you're gonna record for just 5 minutes straight, and actually in like an hour straight, and then you're only gonna have like 5 minutes of content because you make so little commentary, and the game is pretty much just the same. So for those of you who want my review on this, do not buy a physical copy. Just get the game online, unless you're a more hardcore collector. So anyway, with this game, I just don't entirely recommend getting it at all. unless you're a hardcore collector, or just really want to play the game or get it for your kid. But 90% of the game is just missing, and the stuff that was added, like multiplayer, is the only plus. The only plus. And then you may also be thinking with the energy really isn't a problem. You're never going to have to wait for it because you can easily just refill it with cat food. And then all of the things that used to cost like 30 cat food, let's say, getting like a free continue after you received a defeat, or need to pay for more cat energy. All those stuff that costed 30 before, it's been reduced to just 3. So the times or divided by 10 situation, and then everything in the shop is just cost half as much. Because there are no microtransactions in the game, it's a lot harder to get cat food. The devs realized that it's not very good to put microtransactions inside of a Nintendo Switch game, and you gotta if you're gonna make like a console game, you gotta like reduce the amount as much as possible. So they were just like, fuck it, we're not gonna put any microtransactions in this game. They're already paying for the game, whatever. And that may also be the reason why 90% of the game is wrong. But yeah, I guess I just don't recommend buying it. So anyway, moving on to the next section. I got a new keyboard. So there was a certain fellow inside of my time of hard work makes a difference video that got over 1,000 views. Which, thank you guys. That was really unexpected. To get what was it? 1,889 views, almost 1,900. And I got 30 likes on it. So that was a really cool experience. And then the following video, a lot of them returned, but that also came with a lot of comments. And one of those comments was, you just need to upgrade your keyboard and mouse. And so I did. I can pull out the comments to shout out who gave me that idea and whatnot. But if I do, it's going to have its own separate video. And it's really just going to be a shout out. So there might not be any point in doing it. Thanks to certain schedule changes, I know that I did an entire week of just straight live streaming for as long as I can for that day, and really I didn't. It was just for that week, and then I really wanted to get back into live streaming. I felt like it was too long since I've live streamed, and it just was not working out properly. But I do have a reason. I still want to do it, even after being forced to stop for quite a while. And it's the fact that schedule changes. Now that this certain program is trying to make it more fitting for my time in school, I had to put more time into that. So I stopped live streaming, and now that the schedule is changing in my school part, I was like, no, I gotta stop live streaming, because if it ends up overlapping, that could be catastrophic. Not really, because I don't really got very much people watching my videos, except for that one video. Which thank you guys. You guys also noticed that I keep rearranging my setup. That's another thing. I'm trying to get myself back into YouTube videos, making it more comfortable to set things up and just hit the record button. But a lot of that comes to just how things are set up. And really, it doesn't really matter how things are set up. No matter how much I try, it just doesn't work. And it all leads back to this bed not giving me enough space. It doesn't give me enough space around here. Seriously. Moving back, you guys can see how small it looks, but how big it actually is, So I'm only sleeping on it sideways. So from that angle, it doesn't look too big, but trust me, it takes up such a big portion of the room. But and it's too much. So yeah. And then Christmas coming up. Now that Halloween, that same holiday that I just don't celebrate in anywhere except for the Battle Cats and getting one gorge cat. Yeah, there's not much going on there. So now I'm just immediately talking about Christmas because that is actually a financial issue. Not for me, but for my mom. And my mom was kind enough to look at a list of items that I needed and just give me a few of them. So one of the things I need most out of those is the computer stand, something to hold my computer that also sits on the ground so that I have more space on my desk. Because space has always been a problem, and it's gotten to the point where I needed to get an entirely new desk to do it, and then to just save space in general. I can just put my PC on the bottom of my desk, but I can't just outright put it on the floor because then too much dust can accumulate in it, and it can break my computer. It will shorten the lifespan of it by way too much. So yeah, and then the microphone. This stupid little microphone that I have been using for the past friggin' all time of me of my YouTube channel. I just have it. That's it. I have it. And it doesn't really do much more for it. So you guys can hear my audio. You guys can probably do like a comparison to when I have this mic and my next mic. I'm gonna set this thing back down. Hopefully it doesn't fall over. But anyway, you guys can do your comparisons, stuff like that, how much better it actually is compared to other things. So, yeah, I really just needed another mic that would actually work a lot better. Because, like I said before, just audio in general was a really hard thing to work with. And having such a cheap mic doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. I really want that expensive mic that all of the podcasters are using. It's my dream to have it, especially since with all the issues I'm having here, even more than video quality. Like I don't really care for video quality as much as I probably should, but I do. I do care for my mic more than I do for my camera quality because cameras just aren't as non-trustable as other things, especially if your camera's by Logitech. But a lot of I can't seem to find a lot of mics that are trustable with that. Because there's been a few mics that I've seen before where they sit on your desk with a lot more space coming for that. It's not too much of a problem to have later. But right now it's just a very big problem to have it on your desk. But now I've kind of rearranged it in a certain way to where it's actually easier to just lay it on my desk. I've got arms now that clamp to my desk and hold up my monitors so that they're not sitting on my desk as well, which freed up a lot of space. That was a very good decision to conserve space around here because I've just had so much more space since. And then my TV that I have connected to my computer as just like a third monitor has been mounted to the wall. So now there's a lot more space over there. So now I'm doing really good for space. I'm doing really, really good for space. So yeah, despite a lot of very big shitty things going on lately, like confidential information getting out by my asshole, the younger sister. I am doing well in my own personal space. So now I'm kind of really inconsistent with how I'm doing things, but now I'm realizing that telling the stories is a very big important information because you guys are probably confused, like, wait, your younger sister, how exactly is she spreading that information? Well, let me tell you my story on how I found out that it got out in the first place. this random group of people about my age just came up to me and started asking me all of these questions. So a lot of controversial things happened back in my house that caused punishments, stuff like that. You know, the reason why I don't trust my parents to control my money, especially getting into YouTube and stuff like that. And that's ultimately the reason why I haven't been uploading as much as I do. I'm scared of certain things, blah, 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 blah. But they came up to me asking very, very, like, accurate and personal information about current events happening at my home. I immediately asked him, who told you that? And at first, they were playing dumb, like, oh, I'm just really smart, all stuff like that. And I mind you that this isn't stuff that, like, they heard about because I'm being pulled out of school. No, and even then, it still remains confidential. But it's personal stuff that happens at my house that almost has nothing to do with the school, and it's still getting out there. So I immediately told them, who told you that? And they didn't exactly know who. It was a freshman. I think you guys can all guess who. My younger sister. But essentially, my younger sister was just in the parking lot during certain times. It was unclear if it was during the morning when they're waiting to get into school or during lunch. But she was just shouting that, like, all of this personal information into the parking lot. Like, into the parking lot, she's just shouting all of this information. And so these people, when they told me about all this accurate information, and I told them who it was, they get, like, even though they didn't know that, they described him. Someone in the parking lot with like certain, like, gold streaks in their hair, like slightly blondes, shall we say, in the parking lot in a green sweater, just shouting this information. And I immediately knew that is my younger sister. And Deva, if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you are, I just want you to know that it's undeniable proof that you are the one that is telling this information. I know it's you. There's no hiding it. You've done this crap before, okay? So, yeah, and then going back, telling my dad about this, he's just doesn't care. He's trying, like, seriously, it's a miracle how my parents haven't broken up yet, divorced. It's a miracle how my dad hasn't even left with the milk, considering how irresponsible he is with this situation. He's just trying to run away from the problems. He has 4 kids, I being one of them, and he is just sitting there trying to just not be a part of the situation, even though it is his job as a parent to diffuse the situation. Yeah, he just doesn't want to do that. He's just saying, no, that's your problem. By saying, like, no, you doing these certain things. Of course, it's going to come out to the public, like, stuff like that. Which, no, those are not things. Again, those are things that are stayed confidential, no matter if they happened in school or not. That incident that he's trying to bring up happened in the office, which means, like, they pulled me out to the office explicitly to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen in the, like, main classroom, and to keep it confidential. They do that on purpose, and then my dad is still like, yeah, this stuff is gonna get out even if it's in the office, even though that's a place where it's meant to be confidential. My dad is a fucking moron. Fuck you, Dad. Oh my god. So that's all the current events that I've got today. That's all the things I can think of right now. I can't just keep going on and on and on for 30 minutes. So, well, I have gone on for 30 minutes, but I can't go on longer. This video is far too long for a rant, especially since the last one, talking about my crappy microphone, was about 7 minutes. So thank you for watching if you made it this far. If you are my parents, do better. And if you're my younger sister, I want to cut you out of my life. Thank you for watching. Even if you're not a family member, because it means a lot for you to care about what I have to say in my current events and to understand what's going on here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you do want to watch my other content, it's just gaming. If you're seeing me like this for the first time, I got a question. Why did you watch to the end if this isn't important for you? And two, a lot of my other content isn't very much the same. So subscribe if you want to see more gaming. I rarely do reaction. It's a very lazy form of content, so I typically just don't do it. And again, this video is far long enough. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Wait. Before you guys go, I would like to point out the fact that only 0.2% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed. And I just gotta say, seeing these two numbers compared to each other, that's just very rude. I am mad disappointed. So if you want to turn my frown upside down, then do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's going to help me out a lot in the long run, especially if you can fix these numbers. Because, yeah, that's just sad. Okay. If you subscribed, I absolutely thank you. It will support my future.